know, I am a pretty big music fan. It's one of the things that is constantly in conversation at my house. Haley is learning how to play the piano. Carter is learning how to play piano and drums. Haley's learning how to play the drums. It's one of those things that we've decided, hey, let's start working with our kids on early. And in our house, we're always talking about music. And right now, it's kind of funny because Haley is trying to learn about music and learn all these things. So right now she has two people mixed up, Stevie Wonder and Beethoven. She has got them all mixed up. So she's wanting to know why Stevie Wonder's dad was so mean and why Beethoven wears sunglasses all the time. But one of the things when I think about music is there was a group that came out several years ago that was absolutely incredible. When this group came on the scene, they were absolutely mind-blowing. It was a group by the name of the Civil Wars.
Dreams of a strong wind that will flow beneath her wings, like a voice flies for a melody. Jesus, carry me.
John Paul White and Joy Williams, their two voices when they came together to sing was absolutely and still is unparalleled of today. And they rose out of almost nowhere from a writing session that went really well. And they said, you sound good and I sound good and we sound incredible together. And I mean, just within a few short years, they're winning huge awards, traveling all over the world, and they are just captivating audiences with their sound and with their voices. Now, you can probably relate with me that when you find something that is new and you find something that is absolutely incredible, one of the things you do, and I know I do, is I tell everybody about it. So if I find a new product out there, if I find a new gadget, a new music group, a new whatever, like the first thing I do is I go out and I start telling people about it. And this was no different in the case of the Civil Wars. Everybody I talked to, like, hey, have you heard this group? Have you heard this group? Because, man, there was something about bringing this new concept and this new band, this new idea to people, because I wanted them to experience the same thing that I had experienced. And this week, again, we're going to look at another writing from Paul. Paul hated Jesus and then all of a sudden becomes the guy who is the greatest cheerleader for the entire Christian movement. And Paul wanted everybody to see this picture that had taken place in his life, that at once he hated the idea of Jesus Christ, this idea that he hated Jesus Christ. But then Paul is reconciled back to God. In other words, the relationship was fixed. The relationship was made right. There was no more brokenness in that, and he saw things from a different perspective. Now, when Paul experienced this, he realized we can't, I can't, you can't keep that to yourselves. It's up to us to bring this reconciliation to the rest of the world. As a matter of fact, he clearly lays it out in this letter he writes to the church of Corinth in 2 Corinthians. I want you to check it. Here's what it says. It says, and all this was a gift from God who brought us back to himself. I want you to take note of that. He brought us, you and me, back to himself through Christ. And God has given us this task of reconciling people to him. For God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself, no longer counting people's sins against them. And he gave us this wonderful message of reconciliation. Now, this was a huge idea. This was a huge concept because Paul realized that he was separated from God. And through Jesus Christ, the relationship had been reconciled. It had been fixed. Now, just like I would love to be in the position to like reconcile the differences between the two people in the Civil Wars and bring that group back together, Paul says, listen, you're on mission. And it is your job, it is my job, as somebody who has experienced the reconciliation, as somebody who's experienced Christ coming into our lives, making us in right standing with God, you need to go do the same thing. And God wants to use you to reconcile people to him. In verse 20, Paul takes it a step further and says, hey, this isn't just a task, but you have a title. You have the title of an ambassador. In other words, that everywhere you go, you're to reflect the love of Jesus, reflect the type of person who represents Jesus. You're to be a walking reconciliation sign. In other words, when people see you, they need to see that there's something different about you. There's something different about the way that you love people. There's something different about the way that you care for people. And they want to know what that is. That you're an ambassador. One of the things that we talk about a lot, and we're going to keep talking about, is this idea of who are three people that are far from God but close to you. See, in reality, Paul is saying those three people, guess what? You're the ambassador of God to show those three people who I am. To show those three people that Jesus died for them and wants to make the relationship between them and God right, so they may have hope for their future. So today, as we're thinking about this idea of reconciliation, as we're looking at this word, I want to challenge you to think, what am I doing with those three people? What am I doing with those three? Am I doing anything in my relationships with them to help them understand more of who God is? Am I actively an ambassador, or am I somebody who's experienced Jesus and I'm just hanging out and I'm not doing anything about it?